Hi, everybody. Welcome back to From the Pressbox, the Stark County edition. I'm Mike Popovich, and joining us today is Sam Berkwin, the afternoon drive time host and sports director at 1480 WHBC. Hey, thanks for joining us today, Sam.
You got it, Mike. Glad to be here.
Sam, I think we want to talk first about a game you and I both saw on Friday up at Lake. Hoover defeats Lake 35-20. Erick Howard of the Vikings, the reigning Mr. Football, 274 yards rushing, 230 yards and 4 touchdowns alone in the first half, and he did it all with the flu.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine what this kid could have done if he was feeling good, and if the game could have been a little bit closer toward the end and they would have had to keep him in the game in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, Mike, absolutely incredible what happened against the other night. First of all, Erick Howard missed several days of school. He was out with the flu, and then you know how it usually takes him about a quarter and a half to get moving? Well, apparently he got moving early in this one, and the Vikings offensive line was absolutely spectacular. Mark Wiley and his crew opening up holes for Erick Howard to run through, and once he gets in the secondary, you can forget about it.
Yeah, you talked about the offensive line and catching him and bringing him down. That's easier said than done. We saw on a couple of occasions of him just dragging tacklers before he was able to be brought down.
Yeah, and Lake does a terrific job as far as tackling, gang tackling, running the ball, fundamentals, technique, but still, when you're trying to get a guy like Erick Howard down and he gets a head start, it's tough.
Another game, GlenOak goes to Fitch and defeats the Falcons 21-14. I don't know if a lot of people, what they might have been thinking about GlenOak going into this game. They struggled to beat a winless Jackson team, but they go on the road. Brandon Martin throws 3 touchdown passes to Luke Gavin. Briante Dunn rushes for 136 yards. That was a big win for them.
Yeah, a lot of folks maybe thought Briante Dunn had to run for over 200 yards in this ball game, but credit Scott Garcia and his staff. They got the kids up. They missed 3 field goals as well, so they could have had 9 more points on the board. They beat a Fitch team who was undefeated, who was maybe the cream of the league so far this year. GlenOak gets a huge win on the road, and now they're looking for bigger and better things coming up this weekend.
Well, speaking of this weekend, the Massillon Tigers are 5-0 after their win over Akron Garfield on Friday night. The Akron City Series took its lumps against Massillon this year, but I think we're going to really find out how good this Massillon team really is. They go to Cleveland St. Ignatius this weekend, and then next weekend they have to go to Steubenville.
Yeah, the first 5 and the second 5 were a lot different for the Tigers. Dave Myers, one of the best quarterbacks probably in the state of Ohio for St. Ignatius. He's a tall, lanky, left-handed kid. I believe he's got a lot of looks from colleges. He may be on his way to Louisville. The Tigers are going to be in a tough environment for them. It's going to be on the road. They have not played well at Byers in the past, except for they did get a big win there a couple years ago, so they know they can win in that stadium, and it's going to be up to Robert Partridge and Devin Smith and company to get it done.
Well, in the NBC, the Louisville Leopards are 5-0 after their win over Northwest on Friday night. The Leopards got some bad news before the game when they learned that quarterback Bobby Swigert will miss the rest of the regular season. He has a torn ligament in his right foot. He's going to have to undergo surgery this week. Sam, are the Leopards going to be able to overcome this?
I think they can do that. I think Paul Farah and his staff are going to find a way. Toby Minster now is the guy who's going to have to take over the reins of quarterback for Louisville. We know about their defense. That's not going to be a problem. It's going to, can the offense muster enough and keep the other teams off balance enough to score to get the job done? But defense is going to be the key for Louisville, no question about that.
And in the NBC, you've got 2 other undefeated teams, Minerva and Carrollton. Boy, the NBC's got to be one of the best leagues for the Division II, Division III teams around in Ohio.
Yeah, when you're halfway through, you've got the Minerva is undefeated, you've got Carrollton is still undefeated, and a couple of teams with only 1 loss, and of course you got Louisville at the top. So better be ready to buckle it up every Friday. No doubt about that at all.
Well, Sam, as we get ready to wrap up here, what are some of the other storylines and some of the other top players you're going to be interested in watching during the second half of the regular season here?
Well, I'm interested to see how McKinley's offense gets on, if they get on track and maybe start to stick more with the I formation. Bryce Wilder is one of the most outstanding running backs around, so I'm really looking forward to watching that. I'm interested to see, what happens in the NBC. How far along in the season do we have 3 undefeateds, 2 undefeateds? I'm interested to see how long that goes. And I want to see how Central and St. Thomas rebound from a tough first half. Injuries, not a lot of numbers on the team. I'm interested to see how they get things moving here in the second half.
Well, it should be an interesting second half to the season. We'll look forward to bringing it to you on FridayNightOhio.com. Hey, Sam, thanks for coming over and joining us, and
got it,
we hope
Mike.
to have you back soon.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm Mike Popovich for Sam Berkwin. Have a good week.